Man, if that doesn't get you excited for this new game, I don't know what will. My name's Slender. What's going on, guys? Now, what you guys just saw there was actually footage from two different games, Ashes of Creation, which was the beginning sequence, and then I showed some footage of me, hunting, taming, and breeding these big giant birds called Argentavises. And you're probably wondering, well, why did you add that to the video? Ark has nothing to do with this game. Well, you're right, but I couldn't think of a better game to showcase what taming and breeding is like. And that's why I added it. Now, Ashes of Creation, which is a game that's going to be coming out, not for a while. It's still got a ways to go, but it's going to have taming and breeding, also known as animal husbandry. And I couldn't be more excited. So, you know what? Let's just jump right into it. We're going to talk about all the different aspects of it, how in-depth it is, and it's going to be great. I cannot wait. So, my name's Slender, and let's go take a look. Tony, roll the tape. Let's go. Come on. Actually, there's no Tony. I don't even know who Tony is. It's just me. All right, so first of all, for any of you guys that played Ark and already know about the breeding and the taming and what all that entails, go ahead and skip past this part. There should be timestamps in the description of the video. And for anybody that has either never seen anything about Ashes of Creation, I've got a whole playlist of Ashes of Creation videos, and it's one of my most highly anticipated games that I'm waiting for. It's gonna be awesome. And when I tell you that Steve Sharif and the team behind Ashes of Creation are taking all the best parts of all these games and combining them into one. I mean, that's it. That's exactly what they're doing. And this part, Animal Husbandry, is no exception. On each different aspect of the game they focus on, they take it to a whole new level. And if you want to see an example of that, check out the Seasons video that I made, which goes into detail about just the whole weather system. It just takes everything that we know about these video games and it just puts it in a level of its own, a league of its own. It is insane. So back to the whole Ark and why I'm even talking about this. I just want to put things into perspective. So the one thing that really kept me coming back to Ark and just kept me coming back for more was just the taming and the breeding. Forget the multiplayer and the raiding and all that stuff. I'm talking just the breeding and taming. It was like a whole game, you know, within a game. It's incredible. It's got so many similarities with what they're doing with Ashes of Creation, and it almost feels like that these creators have played the game Ark and they're just bringing some of the best parts of it to their own game, which is amazing. That's great. In Ark, you know, you can find and hunt down these dinosaurs in this beautiful open world. And for example, you can hunt down a T-Rex and knock it out with some tranquilizer darts, trap it, and then once it's down, you feed it its favorite food, and then after so long, boom, it pops up. It's your own, very own tamed, gigantic T-Rex. And then you can use this T-Rex as a companion to hunt, to fight by your side, carry resources like a giant. Just imagine having a giant armored mobile inventory by your side. And then you can even ride it in, you know, like your own very own T-Rex mount. And if that wasn't enough, you can actually breed these animals once they're tamed. And you're probably wondering, well, why would you want to breed it? You know, what benefit do you get other than having a bunch of little baby T-Rexes running around, which is really cool, by the way. Well, I'm glad you asked. And that is because all the dinos and all the animals in this game have their own very different stats. And all the creatures in Ashes of Creation are going to be no different. They're all going to have their own stats. Just keep watching the video, guys. I promise this will all start to make sense. There's a reason I'm talking about all this stuff. And they've got stats just like a character has stats. You've got melee damage, HP, speed, stamina, etc. The list goes on. So let's just say you find this wild T-Rex, you know, this male wild T-Rex with super, super high HP, but really, really bad low melee damage. And you also find a female T-Rex with the opposite stats, like a super low HP, but really, really high melee damage. Well, you can tame those two and then breed them and possibly get an offspring with both the good high HP stat from the daddy and the good high melee damage stat from the mommy. And you would essentially have this super dino, you know, the super T-Rex with the high HP and high melee. And that, my friends, is why you'd want to breed. And that is exactly what Ashes of Creation is going to be giving us the ability to do. The ability to find our own mounts, to tame our own mounts, to train and breed our own mounts, our own fighting pets, you name it. Our beast of burden, which can carry stuff for us, because we're going to be doing trade runs and we're going to be traveling to the tundra to find, you know, I don't even fucking know, just cool shit, and then take it over to the desert area and sell it for bucks, you know? Let's go ahead and dive into animal husbandry and what you can expect with Ashes of Creation. Man, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know where to start. So I guess this is as good of a place as any. So taming. Taming is going to be one of the gathering skills, which will basically allow you to capture or locate, capture, and tame wild creatures that you come across in the world. Now, once tamed, the creatures can then be trained, bred, and refined with the animal husbandry skill, or with the animal husbandry profession. Now, there's more than just taming and breeding these animals, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But you will actually be able to train these animals and really like hone in their skills and abilities, which is really, really exciting. Now, breeding in Ashes of Creation is going to be really, really in depth and actually follow the Mendelian model of inheritance, which refers to certain patterns of how traits are passed from parents to offspring. But it's going to be overlaid with magical tools, as Stephen described it, to keep things interesting. And with this model, the creatures will have characteristics that are determined by their genetics. Now, there's going to be different traits that the creatures are going to have, such as appearance, performance, combat efficacy, and even different abilities that breeders are going to be able to bring forward in a particular mount or pet. Yes, they're going to have mounts, there's going to be pets, there's going to be beasts of burden, like animals that are used for carrying supplies, and pack animals and stuff like that. Now, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to in the Ashes of Creation breeding system is the fact that no two creatures are going to be identical. You're going to have combat stats, you're going to have speed stats, endurance stats, and different ability systems. So that's really, really exciting. And just like the breeding in Ark, we will actually be able to breed these creatures, study the offspring, and actually make informed, breeding decisions based on the features that you want to pursue in the next or following generations. So all of the different species will have different traits and characteristics, and given that, they will also have different strengths and weaknesses. So there's going to be kind of a balance that you're going to have to find in certain situations. Another really cool thing to consider is when finding and taming these animals and looking for certain traits and characteristics is geography and location. Certain geographic locations will have certain types of breeds. To get that really fast horse breeding line with the best speed traits, you may have to travel to the desert. And to get and find the breed of horses with the really strong coat and the high HP, you may have to go to the tundra to find those horses. And if you want to be a big, workhorse with size and strength, you may have to travel to the riverlands for those types of horses. And if you want to be a master breeder and be known for the best horses around, you're going to need to travel to all these different places to capture, tame, and then breed all the best characteristics into, one animal. Like I said before, having a breeding line of super T-Rexes like, we had in Ark. Now, I know for a fact that I'm going to just be lost in the breeding. This is just so cool. And when this game comes out, I don't care about the combat, I don't care about the spells, I don't care about the PvP, the PvE. I just want to breed and become a master breeder with the most amazing animals and creatures. That's all I care about at this point. Now, if you aren't sold by now, wait till you hear this. So the most powerful traits are going to be hidden in rare spawns and achieved through mutations. Yes. So in Ark, you can get a mutation in your offspring in certain generations. And that mutation could be in the form of, the animal's color and the coat and how it looks, or that mutation could be in one of the stats. And you would get like an extra couple HP stat points or melee stat points, or something really stupid like the food stat, which nobody really cares about. And if you did get a mutation in, like a good stat like HP or melee, then that offspring would be the new breed mother or the breed father to pass down, that mutated stat. And it sounds like there's going to be something similar in the Ashes of Creation breeding, which really tells me some of these guys must have played Ark, because they really, it sounds really, really similar, and that's a good thing. That is a great thing, because the breeding in Ark was amazing. Now, we're going to also have the ability to unlock greater crossbreeding potential through breeding mastery to create even more fantastical creatures, Steven said. It really sounds like there's going to be a lot of freedom when it comes to, what species can be bred with what. But Steven did say that there is potential for entirely new species by becoming a master breeder and, really pushing the limits, which that gets me really excited. Now, once the animal or creature is born, and this is also really cool, that it sounds like there's going to be kind of like a Tamagotchi aspect of the game where you're actually going to have to raise the animal. Talk about a game within a game, not just a little mini game. This is like in-depth stuff. And this is where I get really excited. So you're going to actually need to raise the creature from birth to adulthood, and then actually train the animal for whatever their intended purpose is. There's gonna be different purposes, like there's gonna be mounts, there's gonna be pets, there's gonna be what he calls beasts of burden, and even livestock animals. And you're gonna be able to specialize your focus as a breeder, and that's gonna be me for sure. So this includes the training and the raising of the pets, includes feeding the animals, cleaning the animals, taking them out for practice rides, if you're training them to be a mount, or even training them out in the world to fight monsters, so that they can fight by your side as a pet. Steve actually said training is going to be really, really important in actually determining the quality of the genetically determined stats and abilities. So training and the quality of the training has a direct relation to how those stats are going to come out and be passed on to the next generations. Now, another kind of cool thing is these animals can actually be sold at auctions. Now, don't forget, any and all of this can change by the time, the game is released and launches. And Steven said he's looking for feedback. He wants to know, like, how in depth do we want this to go? Do we want it to be super crazy in depth, or do we want it to be more of a, less in depth? And personally for me, after playing other games that have taming and breeding, I want this to go all the way. I want it to be as in-depth as we can get it, because it is, once you actually start taming and breeding animals in whatever game you're playing, it is so addicting. I have spreadsheets of all my breed lines and, which stats are where, and mutations, and it is so much fun. You guys have no idea, and some of you probably do. So there's going to be a cap on the amount of times an animal can be bred, and there's going to possibly be like discoverable compendiums for, information on acceptable, breeding parameters and stuff, maybe even an animal husbandry chart. There's going to be possibility for really odd combinations that are going to be allowed, but he said there definitely will, be limits. Another really cool thing that I absolutely love, and I hope this makes it to the live game, is that during the youngling stage, when the animal's really young, we may even see quests available for that might offer like cosmetic changes and appearances to the animals as they're growing up. So that would be really cool. Definitely something to look forward to. We may even be able to tame and breed aquatic mounts. And remember, these different breeds and different species are going to have different abilities. So, an aquatic mount that you can possibly tame and breed might have abilities like fish finding. And I think that would be so cool. So I really can't wait. I'm so excited. I hope this kind of sheds some light on the breeding aspect of the game. And if you guys have any questions, I'll do what I can to find the answers. But so far, it sounds really promising. And if it's half as good as the Ark breeding, I'm going to be sold, because this is just, again, one aspect of the game out of many that are going to be setting new standards for MMOs, for generations to come. So really great stuff. I can't wait. I hope you guys are excited. I'm excited. And again, if you haven't seen any of the other Ashes of Creation videos on the channel, just search for Ashes of Creation. I have a whole playlist. And if you guys like this video and want to see more, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. My name's Slender. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. And let's get hyped for Ashes of Creation. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Hold up. me product.